Running? I said come with me if you want to live a life. Five, six, seven, eight.
Oh no, it's that time.
What time is that?
It's the time to stream.
It's hammer time.
Rangers, it's streaming time. Huh. Alright, welcome to the Thearly Clinking podcast, and to my right is the great TJ, the only clone that you can find of me. He's brother!
I'm not a perfect clone.
Yeah.
I'm the recessive traits, and I'm
He's the
slightly
recessive
Hispanic looking.
Except he's got the dominant traits because he's got darker hair and darker skin than I do. But yeah, welcome to the cast. We're excited to be here and talk about E3. This is gonna be a fun cast for you guys. But in the meantime, TJ, what have you been up to this week?
Oh,
We
filmed with Reviews versus the World. It was actually really, really fun.
It was way fun. They were really cool guys. Hope to have them on the cast one of these days. That'd be awesome. But it was really cool to get to do something a little different. Check out their page, their YouTube channel, Reviews versus the World. We'll probably provide links in the YouTube description once we get this reposted there. Otherwise, check them out. I'll try to get a link in the chat here pretty quickly, though. But
I played a lot of Crash Bandicoot. I was trying to get 100%, but my problem is that my Raspberry Pi wasn't saving a lot of the stuff I did, so I had to restart over.
Oh dear.
I remember how much Spyro's Riptor's Rage really sucked. I need to get the original Spyro. That game is still fantastic, and I love it.
Yeah, Spyro's pretty rough.
I'm talking the first one, not the second. The second one was just kind of like really odd. It didn't quite hold the memories. I think I finally got over my Hearthstone addiction.
Oh yeah, you finally broke free of the chains.
I tried to go grind the other day, and I just realized I don't want to do this anymore. I'm kind of just tired.
Yeah, you're a tired old man.
I am a tired old man.
Yeah.
I'm cranky. I'm 20. I'm almost 25. I am almost tired.
Too old for
It's like the Blink 180 song. Nobody likes you when you're 23.
Yeah, it's true. It's a very true feeling. Or you feel like nobody likes you at all when you're 23. And now I'm 24. Ugh.
So mine's like almost +2 that.
Does it amplify as you age? I'll have to ask the wise people in Blink 182.
If we can ever get Blink 182 on the show, I will be amazed.
They hate each other, so I doubt it.
If I can ever get part of Blink 182 on the show, I will be amazed. But no, most of the best thing that I did was this week was I after we watched Jurassic World was go do that podcast with our friends.
Which Jurassic World was fantastic, by the way. If you guys like dinosaurs or action movies at all.
It became the number one movie opening weekend of all time. It
Yeah.
beat out the first Avengers, which is like unprecedentedly heard of.
Ridiculous. That's really awesome that it was able to even accomplish that. That's just really cool.
It was just, and then it also beat out like the biggest opening ever too. 509 million worldwide opening weekend.
Crazy.
That was ridiculous. I mean, the movie's good, but it's not that good.
Yeah.
But what I was reading is, I guess, just timing's everything, because there was nothing in competition without. The Avengers had been out long enough. Mad Max had been out long enough.
It's true. It was perfectly timed.
The only thing that might give it some problems.
We're judging the world and
It's not
saying
going to kill Jurassic World, but it's going to probably kill some of the revenue
Yeah,
that comes out with it.
for sure. Oh, man. That was such a good movie.
But game-wise, I haven't been able to do that much this week because I've just been busy.
Gotcha, yeah. Life's been like that. And I've kind of been the same way myself. I personally have been playing a lot of Hearthstone because I'm getting ready for a tournament this weekend, which is going to be sweet. We're just doing a fireside gathering out here locally. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to go compete in that. They're stepping it up this time, though. The same people that ran it the last time that I went, but they actually got a sponsor this time. So they have $700 worth of prizes to give away on top of a bunch of Blizzard swag they can give away as well. Having two sponsors, not only Blizzard, but Growtix, just another local company here. They sponsor Comic-Con, Salt Lake Comic-Con, so it's pretty big company out here, so that's nice. And so they're giving away like an iPad mini to the winner of that. Like, that's perfect.
Can I food poison most of the people?
So yeah, no, I'm excited. I've got some pretty nice decks. I'm fine tuning them this week to get ready for this. I gotta play test my warrior a lot more because he's suffering a little bit, but I know he's a good deck. He feels like a good deck. I'm just not playing.
He feels
him,
good.
right?
You like to feel him?
Yeah, I do. I like to grab Garrosh by the balls and be like, "You fucking you father mucker."
You can't even say it right.
I don't even care. I watched Chappie. You fucker mother or something.
Chappie.
Yeah, have you seen Chappie?
What's Chappie?
So Chappie is a movie that came out recently. Hugh Jackman in it, and it's about this robot.
Chappie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the one that where
he always calls them he says motherfucker wrong. He's like you fuck mother is what he calls them. He calls them fuck mothers. So like, just thought that was funny. But yeah, Garrosh, you fuck mother. Give me all your cards. But we've got an intense amount of information happen over this past few days.
Actually part of the reason why I didn't play so much this week
Holy
is because
shit.
I spent most of my time watching just conferences.
Yeah. Lot of surprises. Stuff we didn't see coming, and I'm so happy about that. I love when shit just doesn't leak, and some of these conferences went really well. But we're kind of gonna go over this in order here, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe we'll keep it unorganized here. But first, I want to talk about Nintendo. Nintendo kicked everything off on Sunday, and this is what I've been doing all Sunday since they made their announcement. But they announced a bunch of new Smash Bros.
So was it a full conference
content.
or was it like just 10-15 minutes?
So I didn't watch it. They did a whole hour dedicated to Smash Brothers. On top of that, they held the Nintendo World Championships, in which they also showed off some Mario Maker stuff. On top of some other new games that they used to help along with the event. It was part of they played Mario Kart, Splatoon. They played that new Metroid game, but they played like kind of a soccer version of it where it's called Blast Ball, where they're shooting the soccer ball into a goal, but with the Metroid like interface. And that was pretty cool. So that was a new game they showed off completely. Like everybody's like, what the heck is that? And then they showed off Mario Maker and some just insane levels that they had created for these people to get through. And it was really cool watching like Cosmo Wright, who he holds the record for the fastest speedrun of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. He's just really good at playing old school games. But he was competing in there, and I think the guy named Johnny Numbers. He's the winner of the Nintendo World Championship. But yeah, it was really cool, really fun to watch. I really hope they keep doing that. And then, but yeah, like on top of that, they were just like, oh, here's a bunch of Smash Brothers DLC out today. We got Ryu from Street Fighter, Roy from Fire Emblem, and also previously known for Smash Brothers Melee, and then Lucas from Smash Brothers Brawl. All three of these characters are awesome and totally worth.
Why don't they bring Snake back? Why can't I get Snake?
I don't know. It's probably some issue. The only reason they were able to get Ryu is because they already kind of have a deal with Capcom. They got Mega Man in the game, so I don't think them stretching too hard to get Ryu.
It's kind of funny though, because especially since they're in the we'll get to the PlayStation conference a little bit, but I find it kind of funny since Street Fighter 5 is going to be a PS4 exclusive.
Yeah, no, this is exactly right. Like I read a comment somewhere, or I think I was listening to the stream. I can't remember, but someone was making fun of the fact they're like, oh, this is the most racist bullshit I've ever seen the whole year. Like Ryu's in Smash Brothers, and PlayStation's got him as exclusive, but there's 8-0 on Xbox. Not one Street Fighter character on Xbox at all.
We're just against the race of Xbox.
I just thought that was funny. It was
I think it's because maybe the reason why is because Xbox was trying to push their own fighter. I can't even think of it right now. We used to play the hell out of it, and it just Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct. That was a sweet game. I have not a thing from Killer Instinct.
That's kind of surprising because season 2 is not even over yet, is it?
No, season 2's over. They released Arya. Arya, if you don't know, is probably the coolest Killer Instinct character ever. She's like Japanese. She's like playing Marvel vs. Capcom in Killer Instinct. She's three characters in one. You can tag them all between them. And she switches like different forms. She's got 3 different robot forms. She can call in assists, like in Marvel.
But she's a robot?
Yeah, she's a robot. She's a pure robot. She's kind of like Fulgor's wife. I don't know.
The wife of Fulgor.
She actually has no relations with Fulgor, but
is she a brand new character entirely?
She's a good wife for Fulgor. She's brand new entirely. Yeah, they made her up. She's really cool. Really cool concept, like completely different than all of the other characters in the game. And she's got a low amount of health too, which makes her kind of cool. So yeah, anyway, Arya's really cool, but yeah, they didn't bring anything out. They are doing season 3. They confirmed they're going to do season 3 this year. So I'm really excited to see what they've got in store later on. So they'll probably do those announcements later when they've got something developed. I don't think they've developed anything for season 3 yet.
Okay, so what else happened Sunday? So,
but Sunday,
when did Nintendo? Because Fallout, I mean,
yeah, it was like it was like middle of the night, like early morning, like Japan. It was supposed to be like during the day Japan time was when they released this. It was just their Nintendo digital event, just pure Smash Bros. Announcements. That's all that event was for. The Nintendo World Championship was held later on that day, after Bethesda's press conference. So Bethesda had a press conference, and then following that was more Nintendo stuff. But all of that was really cool. But I'm going to let you talk about Bethesda since I kind of took over there.
I don't think we're actually streaming.
We're not streaming.
Oh, there we go. We got it.
Okay.
Just, when I pulled it up, it was just like... Bethesda was... I didn't watch Bethesda right off the bat because I spent 6 hours streaming Battlefield Hardline with a friend, Jose. Uh-huh. But when I finally got to around it, like at 2 a.m, I was just like, they opened up pretty big. They honestly just started off with Doom, and it was just like Brutal Melee. When I first saw Brutal Melee get big, starting was back in Killzone 3, when they did like where they would like snap people's necks, right. They would take their eyes out, and do all that stuff. But this is ridiculous. I'm like, just how brutal this game can get, because I was watching him just honestly just like grab a guy, punch him in the face, rip his head off, snap his neck, and do all sorts of things. And then they're like, and they started off like kind of just getting rid of the whole entire like Doom 3 vibe. Like it started off slow, but it wasn't like what the hell is my duct tape mod?
Yeah.
It had a lot of good vibrant colors. It started off with the shotgun, and then it came out with the super shotgun, and it just kept introducing these weapons, and just and then all of a sudden he picks up the chainsaw, and it comes to this point where he's just like cutting them in half, and he's like, there's like different animations for like which enemies you kill and where you cut them.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of blood and gore, and it's just got this old school feel, which I'm just glad that it is bringing back the old school feel, like they did for Wolfenstein,
exactly.
and they're doing it for Doom now.
Yeah.
And even better is that they're actually having a multiplayer, because I think that's the one thing I kind of missed, the fact that Wolfenstein didn't have a multiplayer.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for the whole Doom concept, especially with just a lot of the guns. And then even the best thing is like when they previewed the Hell portions, when you actually go from Mars into Hell.
Yeah.
And it is just... And the best thing was just these... the thing I like about this is that they're making it so that you can mod without any previous PC knowledge. I don't know, did you see that?
Yeah. There's some stuff like that. I guess you can customize your own Doom levels, or...
And it's to the point you can actually change how the physics interact with each other.
That's
like,
pretty cool. I'm down for that.
So I don't remember if you
like
remember
a
Project Sparks was trying to do that.
Yeah.
I think the problem is by the time Project Sparks actually decides to make it out, Microsoft's gonna be too late because everybody's already starting to beat them to it.
I was actually surprised we didn't see anything on Project Spark at all.
I think they kind of just like, I've gotten the beta. I'm in the beta, but I haven't gotten like any news. They kind of just like pushed it to the side.
They're like, hey, here's some Conquer DLC, and then it just like disappeared. So I don't know what's happening with that one. But they
also showed the new Dishonored.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the new Dishonored. That one looks really awesome.
I'm kind of surprised they're doing a female protagonist this time around. So I want to know how.
I think that was the theme of this E3. Every new game that was announced had a female protagonist. I don't know if that was just me, but I feel like that was like every new game. They had to make sure they showed a female protagonist as long as it was a new game. If it was a previously existing franchise, it just stuck with whoever was.
There was another game that was coming out. I forget what it's called, but it's like a Team Fortress 2 style like shooter that they were. That's one thing I've noticed is
Microsoft announced it.
No,
their console. There's a couple of them.
There's a couple. Like a lot of people are starting to steal a lot of like ideas from each other. Like the big thing I noticed during this E3 was TF2 type shooters where they had like this kind of whimsical, cartoony look.
Open battlefield cartoon. Yeah,
and then another thing I've noticed is that a lot of people are starting to take advanced warfare movements.
Yes.
Like, I know a lot of people go, that's BS, Titanfall did it first, but Titanfall didn't do it as well as Advanced Warfare. You may not like Advanced Warfare, but the thing is that it made the movement quicker. Titanfall, you weren't quick jumping around. You would jump up, it'd be kind of slow, and then you would kind of run across walls, but Advanced Warfare kind of made it popular because one thing I noticed as soon as I know we're kind of skipping around here, but as soon as Halo 5 opened up, they were boosting forward like you were playing Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was like,
noticed that.
And then Doom was doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to see all these mechanics that are starting to become popular.
Yeah. No, that was interesting. Yeah, it feels like Titanfall kind of started doing that, and then Advanced Warfare followed through with it and improved upon it, and then they're keeping that in Black Ops 3, which is something we'll get into later, I'm sure. But
that was it was amazing to see just see how Valve has actually affected the market because they're making all these Team Fortress 2 like looking shooters to the point even that is it Blizzard that's doing Overwatch?
Blizzard is
doing even Overwatch, Blizzard.
Yes.
Like when I saw Overwatch, I'm like, Team Fortress 2.
That's exactly what I thought. It's like Team Fortress 2 with a little bit of MOBA influence because they got like tons of characters, so they'll be able to sell those characters just like League of Legends or Heroes of the Storm. They'll just be able to sell those characters separately, which is going to make it one of those not pay to win necessarily, but pay to
honestly, I'm kind of a little iffy about Journey to Dishonored. Like, I've never played Dishonored, so I'm going to have to buy I guess if it's still on sale on Steam, I'll buy the $10 version. I'm not always that kind of, like, skulky. But as soon as you played it earlier and watched him just fight, I'll have to definitely pick that up.
Yeah, I only played Dishonored briefly just before the cast because I just downloaded it off the Steam sale the other day. Because I'm curious. I'd never played Dishonored. I heard it was really good. It got really good reviews, but it came out during a really saturated time. There were other games out, like I think Batman and...
It kind of just got buried.
Yeah, it got buried. So I never picked it up. And it's not it's a first person. It's like not a shooter necessarily, but
First person.
It's a first person action game, and I'm not the biggest fan of those, so I'm not gonna draw to Dishonored right away. But it looks really cool, and just from the short little gameplay test that I did earlier, it was.
But the trailer that was another thing. Female protagonist
of Dishonored, yes.
And it's just, it's funny, like, it's got this whole entire, like, anti-British imperial feel, because they rip from, like, Victorian England so much.
It was really awesome, actually. I really enjoyed that.
So I might have to jump on the bandwagon for this, but I digress. The best thing of Bethesda's was just the sheer mind-blowingness that is Fallout 4.
Oh, my God.
Like, a lot of people were skeptical, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to choose my own character because I'm the lone survivor of Vault 111. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure this is going to go with cryogenics because you're the only... So you actually wake up 200 years earlier. You start the game before the war.
That's what's really cool. It's because, I don't think any of the games... I haven't played the prior ones, but... I don't think any of the games really dive too much into like what happened before the war.
The only one that really comes close enough is Fallout 3.
Yeah, Fallout 3 has a DLC, I believe, that takes you there. Or
they do Operation Anchorage, and then when you go into the vault, I forget which vault it is, but it's got the Garden of Ancient Creek kit, the GEC. You can go to like the old world virtual.
Right. That's right.
But this is going to be really interesting because a lot of people were kind of skeptical, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to choose my own character. But they're like, nope, you can just swap between male and female, and you can actually customize the wife.
Can push his face in and make him really
weird.
The
sliders were just amazing. It's like sculpting.
There wasn't sliders. That was their.
You can't see the sliders, but
whatever. But yeah, you can pretty much just sculpt this.
I can't wait to see the monsters that people like.
I'm ready to make a penis face. Because like that's what you do with like any game with customization. And when I go to mod Doom, I'm gonna make a penis level. When I go to make a Fallout character, there's gonna have a penis on his face somehow. I'm just gonna make his nose somehow like.
You're gonna make the vagina wife.
Yeah, exactly. Or we'll just make her have a penis on her face too. I don't know. Yeah, Mario Maker penis levels.
No, but the great thing is that you have a kid in the beginning of the game, and they were you actually mash up both faces, and your kid's supposed to look like a combination.
Yeah. And
you can go from like being black to white to Asian to Caucasian just without a change.
All of the Asians.
And the great thing is I saw a lot of there's actually voice acting as the main character, which is really odd for a Fallout game.
Yeah, I would love the Mass Effect influence.
I wonder if you can actually choose the voices like in Dragon Age, though.
Yeah, that was something I was wondering too when I saw that. I was like, that's a white guy's voice purely. Like he's not gonna sound like, and I'm not being racist here. Like black people speak differently, white people speak differently, and Asian people, just all in the culture. So I wonder if they're gonna actually have different voice sets. Depending on like how
depending on what kind of some races you are, you tend to have like deeper or higher voices too.
I wonder if they'll do anything like that. I almost don't think they will if they do if they do a shitload of voice acting in that game. I don't think they will. But
they brought back the old handy bot, like from like, when you do the handy bots from like Fallout 3 to Fallout New Vegas, there's different voices. But Codsworth is the actual original. It sounds like the original voice actor from Fallout 3.
I loved it.
Because all the handy bots all sound like the same. And I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't gone like crazy and doesn't attack you like when you first.
Right.
But then they showed like one thing that got me was the customizable armor. Like people have been modding where you can put like, oh, I want this shirt with these pants, things like that.
Yeah.
And Fallout's like, fine, you guys want that? It's in the game right off the bat.
And guess what? You can actually mod it.
You can mod it, but not till about 2016 is when they're going to actually release the official mod. So anything below that, it's not going to be. Before that, it's not going to be officially created. And then the whole entire weapon customization was ridiculous. 50 base weapons with over 200 modifications, and you don't even need more than like if you had like 10 base weapons.
Yeah. The
way that you can like make a laser rifle not even look like a laser rifle anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could. It can be a freaking giant gun if you wanted it to be. It was so crazy.
And then the VATS. The thing I liked is that the VATS is no longer standing still.
Yeah.
I kind of like the fact that everything is like slowly like still moving.
That's kind of did that a little bit, but yeah, this one's a little more. This one's gonna be definitely fine-tuned VAT system.
And the gunplay looks a lot different. Like it doesn't look to be as stale as some of the other Fallouts. And then the one thing that they're bringing over that everybody loved in Fallout 3 was the iron sights.
Yeah, they did. Or from New Vegas anyway.
I mean New Vegas.
Yeah. They brought those. I saw that in the trailer, and I was like, okay, great. So the gunplay is going to be pretty solid.
And the one thing that caught me off guard was like when he goes up to a house and he deconstructs the house.
Yeah, it was so insane.
And apparently, just building civilizations looks fantastic.
That looks really cool. It's a really interesting concept. Like you're gonna be able to recruit NPCs to.
You have to protect them too.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna put turrets in front of your house to make sure they don't get attacked by super mutants. I wonder if they're gonna like have some sort of mechanic where these like super mutants or death claws or anything will attack that base. But
well, the great thing is it's not you don't have to participate in it. It's something like if you want to go ahead and do it, go do it. True. And then you can like, I'm going to set up a ramen trading. Like there is, and then there is advantages because you get better trading items, things like that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be like some super item that you can only get through that.
I'm kind of jealous I don't have an iPhone right now. Because I wanted a Fallout shelter builder.
Yeah, I was like looking for it forever, and I was like, I guess it's not available for or only for iOS. My friend at work was playing it all day yesterday.
It looks fun as hell. And then I, of course, when at like 4 a.m, just was like, here you go, here's the Pip-Boy edition. What? I was like, hell yeah!
Insta pre-order.
He even watched me because I forgot I was streaming.
Yep, it was pretty awesome.
So that's like the one thing I want to get. Like I want to get the Pip-Boy, and it works with your phone, and it's touchscreen, and it's just like I can finally live my dreams.
It's awesome.
I might even get something like custom painted though too. Like
yeah, we'll see. I mean, it depends on what the quality is on that item, but
I'm excited.
Cool. Looks cool. I'm down. I think that's awesome. That's one of the coolest like things to give away with a. Like, if you're going to make a Fallout special edition, that should be the special edition. That's quintessential. That's awesome.
But that conference was actually... It was probably my favorite because it didn't feel like it dragged.
No, not at all. It moved pretty quickly. I didn't see all of it. I didn't catch all of it. I missed some of the Dishonored... I missed the Dishonored trailer. But I caught it afterwards. But I caught most of it, and it was just smooth. There was tons of they just did a lot of showing. That's what I liked about it. Is they didn't spend most of their time just talking about
Sony
the game.
and Microsoft did that, but they're showing some parts of it just kind of like felt like, am I still watching this?
Yeah. Let's move on to the next day. So after Bethesda's conference, this was pre-E3. This is Sunday, right before E3 started. E3 started on Monday, the following day. Not open to the general public. That was the next day. That's today. But yesterday they opened up with the two big press conferences, and then two smaller ones. So it started with Microsoft. They kicked everything off, and I think they had a really great press conference. They started with I actually don't even remember what game they started with. Halo 5.
It was Halo 5.
Halo 5, yeah. They came out with their best game. Like
what got me was like the fact that they used Nathan Fillion's down to the bare bones.
I heard he was in the game, but he is actually in the game. So Nathan Fillion is in Halo 5, which I was like, oh god, I don't want. Please don't make me buy an Xbox One. Please. I almost want to now. I almost might just go back and buy another Xbox One. But the Jillian, and the fact that they just announced that it's backwards compatible. And it's not like true backwards compatibility, sure, but it's really it's better than any
it's better than what Sony's doing
any
right now.
generation of consoles has done. I mean, PlayStation kind of did some backwards compatibility with PlayStation 3. When it first came out, it could play PlayStation 2 games.
No, but PS3 when it first came out, I popped in my Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah, well,
it was true backwards compatible, but the problem is that it drove the price up so high.
Well, you can play PlayStation 3 itself is backwards compatible with PlayStation 1, but it cannot play PlayStation 2 games.
It cannot.
Even the older versions of that console can play PlayStation 2 games, but they just look like shit. It is better to play it on a PlayStation 2.
I did play some PS2 games, but the thing is, the only game I actually went back and played was I swear we needed like a tally board because here comes another Metal Gear mark is Snake Eater.
And we'll talk about some Metal Gear later here because actually, we'll talk about
we'll go through Xbox,
yeah.
Sony, and then Nintendo.
And we'll talk about Metal Gear. There's some cool stuff there.
The one thing that's kind of surprised me about Xbox's press conference is how they were trying to really make up for their past indie game relationship.
Yeah, then they started a Steam, like a Steam sort of like greenlit games or
early access.
Early access is the name.
Yeah. But the great thing about their early access though is that you can test the games out before you buy into the early access.
Oh, really? I didn't.
So it's not like
hear that.
it's not going to be like, I'm gonna go spend $20 on this game that may or may not come out.
That may or may not come out. They may be a piece of shit. Just like that's been the problem with Steam early access. So there's some weariness.
DayZ is still in early access,
but that is pretty forward thinking. But yeah, it is really weird.
The problem is with this early access though is that it might not take off. How many? Because the thing is that when you think about it, how many developers are going to want to program an early access version for Xbox?
Yeah.
If there's not enough people to support it, then what's the point of having it?
Yeah, and then like some of these early access games end up getting pulled or they turn into shit, and then if people will have to ask for refunds, it just turns into mess. I remember like one of these first early access games on Steam. Like there's these videos of it. I can't remember what it was called, but it was awful. It was like you walk into a desert that is just completely abandoned. Like it puts you in just the middle of this desert. You start walking, there's like robots, and then they start killing you, and you can't shoot at them for shit, and they just kill you. And then all these glitches happen. There's an end of the map that's not too far out of reach. Like it was really weird. Nobody knew what the fuck this was. Like it had and it was completely different from what the description was. The description of the game was something completely different, but they were selling this on early access. Steam didn't really offer any refunds for anybody who purchased it, and they paid like $20-$30 for it, and it was just a piece of shit, and they ended up not finishing it. Oh man, it was awful.
So that's the reason why I have some concerns with like early access. It's probably the reason why PlayStation, I think PlayStation might want to see how Xbox is going to handle it to see if it's even worth a venture. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that PlayStation has a really, really good relationship with indie gamers already.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that Sony Xbox, Phil Spencer has been fantastic for the revival of the Xbox One.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been doing a lot to honestly try to turn around how bad the Xbox One has been doing, and he's been fantastic. And I was kind of surprised with all the indie development they saw. They weren't the best indie looking games.
No,
I mean, but it was nice to see Xbox still
absolutely
try that.
The best game from that showing was Cuphead. I don't know if anybody's seen that. That was my favorite game. But if you don't know, for people who don't know what that is, it's look it up. But it's a really cool game. It's shot like a 1930s, or the art style is like a 1930s cartoon. It almost doesn't even look like a game. It looks like a 1930s cartoon. And you play these little cups that make the gun motion, and they just go bang, 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 and they're like shooting ammo at these like ridiculous, like it's almost like you're on weed watching these old like Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Did you say on weed?
Yeah, it's like you're high watching these Mickey Mouse cartoons. Oh man, it's so ridiculous.
That was actually really
it was one of the coolest indie games I've seen, and I'll definitely pick it up. It's coming on PC too on Steam, so I'm ready to buy that.
Halo
one
5's not coming to
the
PC, is it?
No, which is why I've played through all of the Halo franchise.
But you just sold your Xbox One.
I know. I just sold it with the Halo Master Chief Collection because it was so like I couldn't play that online. I played all the games, so just just get rid of it. But yeah, I might pick one up later on. If
they're gonna have to really do this one really well, because one thing I've noticed is that they want to do this whole like seamless co-op, and it's. I was looking at it, and it doesn't quite have that old Halo feel.
No,
it kind of, to me, it kind of seemed a little bit different from like Halo 1 through 3. I guess
felt like Halo 4. Like it looked like.
But Halo 4 was 343.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm saying, it looked like a better graphics Halo 4. Halo 4 looked great on the Xbox 360. Looked even better in HD on the Xbox One.
Again, I'm not a Halo fan, so he definitely knows Like
I'm not even like hardcore. I don't know shit about the story. I like playing through the levels and playing the multiplayer. But that's
seems like they're keeping the same enemies from the fourth one.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I mean, it is going to be the same enemies. I think it's the same set of things.
My favorite part was this made me laugh, was the grunt that was on fire and going, I regret everything, and boom.
Yeah, they always say something funny. So the grunts are fun. But the really cool announcement about Halo 5 was the Warzone multiplayer is a new multiplayer mode.
Should we turn the lights on?
Yeah, you can turn them on. I mean, it's fine. But the Warzone multiplayer that was announced.
That's another thing. That's one thing they're starting to steal from Titanfall.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this Warzone multiplayer is not only is it 24 people in a battlefield going against each other, 2 teams. You have NPCs in there fighting as well, and it's not. They're hostile to everybody. They're grunts. They're elites. They're just whatever. So they're these giant maps too because of this. Because they're rendering these 24-player battles on top of whatever Halo characters they want to be shipped in on top of this. So it's just complete chaos. It sounds awesome. So I'm really excited to check that out and see what happens.
This kind of gameplay, I think, might be able to what they can use to revive the World War II genre. Because because the problem is with multiplayer maps, if you could honestly set on the beaches of Normandy, having where your Americans are fighting Germans and your Germans are fighting Americans with NPCs, and you're kind of just a specialized squad, I think that can revive some old genres. Honestly.
That's it, TJ. We're starting a gaming company. Quit Thearly Clinking. Let's Thearly Clinking Games. Here we go. World War II. We're gonna revive the World War II genre. That's what everybody wants, especially if you.
That's one thing that kind of saddened me about this E3 is nobody's tried. No one wants to touch it again.
Not at all. Black Ops 3 is now Advanced Warfare. So
that was a lot of people saying. I was kind of I was looking at the trailer. And I really like Treyarch. Treyarch's usually has always been one of my more favorite. Ever since Affinity Ward officially kind of is no longer really Affinity Ward after West and Sapella left, is that Treyarch's always been one of my more favorite developers. Mm-hmm. And I'm afraid they're going to give the World War II one to Neversoft. And Neversoft did Call of Duty Ghosts. Yeah. Nobody wants to touch Call of Duty Ghosts with a 10-foot pole. That's how bad it was. Okay.
We'll see though.
Forza, the new Forza is coming out, which was. It was kind of hey, we're gonna drop a car from a ceiling for no good reason.
I think part of this is we're not fans of that franchise. I played Forza and it left a bad taste in my mouth because it has a required 20-minute fucking intro.
Oh,
it's complete bullshit.
Remember how much it used to give us it gave so many people that customer support had so many damn complaints about it.
Yeah, because they hop into the fucking game
and then there was a glitch that wouldn't let you complete it either.
Yeah, there was some bullshit that you couldn't complete it, and you had to get into the stupid fucking car. You had to drive it through a couple levels. They had to talk to you through this stupid 5-minute intro.
Worst tutorial I've ever played.
Awful idea. If you're gonna design a game, let people fucking play the game.
You want a good tutorial? Dead Space 2. You wake up and everything starts coming to life, and it's I'm gonna stand here.
Yeah, I just let people play the fucking game. Don't
be dicks about it.
Don't. Yeah.
But then the thing that kind of surprised me, hey, we got Henry Ford III the Jr. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I really don't care that much. But one thing I'm really looking forward to, and I probably won't have money for this, is I kind of have a bad taste for Microsoft. I think maybe because I used to work for them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The one thing I hated, but the one thing I'm kind of slightly excited to see where it goes is HoloLens.
The HoloLens was awesome. That was one of the coolest things they announced or showed off during that conference. Because I'm not even into virtual reality. I hate that shit. I don't even care. I don't want. I hope it's not. I hope it's not even successful. And because I think it's just a stupid gimmick.
Until we can get Matrix style virtual reality.
Yeah, I mean, right now it makes people sick. I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think that's the future. I think the future, especially after kind of watching these pro gamers and seeing how their success is just sitting at a keyboard and stuff. Like they're not gonna go for the virtual reality shit. Like that's gonna be another market. So I think maybe in like the far distant future, maybe virtual reality could be a thing, but or far future anyway, not the distant
I think the reason why
future,
HoloLens is going to work is because it doesn't put you in a new environment. It creates an environment in the environment that you are.
Yeah,
because
that's what like blew me away.
Because
like,
you're not going to get motion sickness from. Because when you walk around, it creates a world right in front of you.
It's just putting the hologram up in front of you, that was super cool. Like he was like casting lightning bolts down on this Minecraft world.
Poor pigs.
Blowing up shit, turning pigs into pig zombies. That was just awesome.
One thing I saw on Kotaku is that they were doing a Spartan briefing.
Yeah.
This guy gets in the Spartan suit and he's just like, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah,
like, blah, blah, blah.
I didn't spend too much time on that one, but I saw that. That was sick.
This is actually the stuff they can start using, like Tony, when Tony Stark is in his Iron Man suit, he kind of has like a HoloLens because they got the whole heads-up display
shit, like,
and it just like
the Minority Report, Tony Stark shit going on.
You can actually even better though is that instead of like, this is what I see for like the future of gaming with HoloLens, and I tend to be more of a PlayStation fanboy. I'll admit that, but for for Microsoft, think about it, when you're playing a Halo game, you got your HoloLens. You don't have how much ammo is on the screen. You have
it's in your HUD.
It's in your HUD.
HoloLens, or you could not even have it on the screen. You could just have it like right here somewhere. Or
yeah, and you can just be like, "This is how much ammo you're going. This is where the enemies are going."
The HUD could just sit on your couch. Like you could just look over the couch. That's my HUD. I'm playing the game, and you can play the game wherever the fuck you want.
And then, and then if they did like pilot simulating programs, that'd be fantastic because you'd just be like,
yeah.
Because it works with, he was using his hands, right? Just to pull things around, and it was just...
It's interesting. I mean, I'm sure it has to use the Kinect to, like, hand stuff. Well, no.
No, because the HoloLens
detects
is completely away from the Kinect because it's supposed to be used with
That's right.
with Windows 10 without a problem.
Holy shit. That's going to be sick. If I can ever afford it, I'm totally getting it. But
because I can use it from my PC, and then I can, like...
Absolutely.
I can have my documents and just be like...
Yeah, I mean, take it to work with me and just freaking... Oh, my God. Man, that'd be awesome. But yeah, that was a really cool press conference overall by Microsoft. Very poor in the games department. The only game they showed off that was
the only game I was excited for was probably the new Gears.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like when I saw that, I was like, oh, it's just another Gears game. I'm not a Gears fan, so yeah, it might be okay. I saw
the one thing that kind of pissed me off about the conference was EA God in Warfare 2. I'm like, really? Did you guys really need the
their best game ever made?
And it's on Xbox first. I'm like,
yeah.
oh come on. I'm like, dude, this was just and nobody clapped at all for it.
It's true.
The only thing I liked about it was that they used the danger zone.
It was pretty cool, yeah.
Danger zone.
Yeah, danger zone. Some
Lana.
Yeah, that was man. But that press conference, Recore was a pretty cool game. They showed
I forgot about that.
So,
I'm kind of
yeah. If you think back on the Microsoft press conference, there's actually a few cool games. The weak points were really not super weak.
The indie was kind of a little weak. I know they were trying to. I know I said they were trying to rebuild the relationship, but there wasn't a lot of good indie games.
Yeah, and then when they were talking about some of the business stuff, I don't know. There was some portions of it, just like the Sony press conference, which we'll talk about next. It had some points where it just kind of fell flat. But
Sony, at first when I was watching, I thought they were gonna I think a lot of people thought this too. They were going to open up with Uncharted 4 first.
Yeah. Because
the way they were bringing it up, it's like, it's a genre it's an adventure action, and they're like, Last Guardian.
Yeah. Yeah, so Sony just did the craziest thing, and they were like, hey, you know what? Guess what? This game still fucking exists.
It's coming out next year.
Coming out next year. I mean, it would be even funnier if it was like, coming out tomorrow. Fucking drop that out. Oh my God. That was the funniest shit, because nobody thought that was gonna come. They were like, "Oh, that game's canceled," or "That game's gone." Or
I think the problem is that Sony may not make their money back on this game because of how long it's been in development hell.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like we have to own up to it now.
Yeah, it was the point where they keep getting asked like, "Where's Last Guardian?" And then they're like, it's in hell. I don't know.
It's in hell.
Yeah, it's in hell. It's with Doom. Yeah, so like nobody knew where it went, and then there it was, little gameplay demo, playable. So it was really cool to see some gameplay from it. It wasn't like super interesting though. Like I wasn't like super wowed.
it's gonna appeal to those.
I think I'll play it. I'd play it.
I think it's gonna appeal more to those people that are like Shadow of Colossus.
Yeah, it's just definitely a Shadow of the Colossus.
It's a very artsy game,
Himiko,
and so if you like
Journey, that sort of thing, and I'm pretty stoked to see how that turns out. Now. But the shit they pull next is even crazier. So Guerrilla Games comes out.
This is probably explained why Killzone Shadowfall didn't have as much good development because their next game was just fantastic
dedicated
looking.
To a great looking game. Horizon, killing giant robot animal dinosaur
as a caveman,
as a cave woman.
Oh, sorry,
also,
cave woman.
Female protagonist again. Along with
but it looked so seamless. Like it didn't look hard to do at all.
Yeah. And then we didn't mention the other press conferences, but I also want to make note that Assassin's Creed Syndicate has a female protagonist, Evie. They announced that.
Yeah, well, they did that.
They announced that at the Sony conference as well. But yeah, this is another female protagonist. But
I'm just excited to see where they're going to take Horizon.
Yeah, Horizon looks sick.
It's the machine. Machines are actually becoming organic creatures. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
looking.
It's really cool. Then they showed off like Dark Souls 3, which
that was on.
Like,
actually, that was Xboxes.
Was that? Oh yeah, that's
that was
right.
Xbox. We forgot.
So Microsoft announced Dark Souls 3. I confused that. I couldn't remember who showed that one off. So Microsoft showed off Dark Souls 3. Which was amazing. Like that game, like I didn't even realize. Like there were some leaks beforehand, so we knew it was coming somewhere. But
apparently, it's the last one though too.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the last one in a Dark Souls trilogy. But there's been some news coming out saying don't be set on that. We could create another one. We're gonna keep it open. Don't worry about it. But I don't know why people are asking about Dark Souls 4. We got to see how Dark Souls 3 turns out. Like,
because people always want everything at once.
Well, the biggest issue like I have with it is it's so soon. Like Bloodborne just came out.
I think that's the reason why it may be soon because I think Bloodborne was an exclusive to PlayStation.
And they just released the redone version of Dark Souls 2 on new consoles, so it's like I haven't had my fill of those yet. Like I want to play Bloodborne still, so I mean it's crazy. I'm happy there's stuff to look forward to. There's a lot of content to play through. I still need to finish Dark Souls 2, but that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, oh shit, more. But I'm excited. That's gonna be a really good game coming up here. But anyway, back to Sony.
The new Hitman trailer was actually...
They did show a new
which
Hitman
is kind of... Everybody was kind of, like, melodramatic about it, which I was kind of surprised.
It didn't pique my interest either. It was a really cool trailer. I'll give it that, but I didn't
even know it was a Hitman trailer when I was first watching it. I was kind of like...
Yeah. I saw the Square Enix logo, and I was like, maybe this is Tomb Raider, but... No, I thought maybe it was, like, Final Fantasy or something, but... yeah, it was okay looking. Like, I don't know. After the announcements earlier today, they said it was going to be an episodic Hitman 2. Like I'm not really sure about that.
I don't know how well that's
They're going to release it in pieces. So
that might actually work because mission to mission Hitman might actually work.
Yeah, that was the thing. They were saying like they're going to release it in pieces or like different missions are only going to be available on certain days of the week or some shit. So I have no idea.
And then Ryu.
Oh yeah, and then so they decided to show off Street Fighter. So Ryu makes another appearance
on a PlayStation exclusive.
As a PlayStation exclusive. They showed off some more Street Fighter 5 and announced Cammy and Birdie returning to Street Fighter. If you don't know,
were they not in the last Street Fighter?
If you don't know, Birdie was from Street Fighter Alpha 3. Was the last game that he appeared in. And his first appearance was in an older Street Fighter. I believe it's Street Fighter 1. It might just be Street Fighter Alpha. I can't remember. But he's got a long history with Street Fighter. Hasn't been in a game since the Alpha series. So it's kind of cool. It's the first time he's appeared in a mainline or a mainstream Street Fighter game. Or one of the main series, whatever you want to call it. The canon, basically. So now Birdie's in there. He's wrecking shit. He's throwing banana pills. He's whipping his chain. Seems like a badass character. He drinks energy drinks and throws them around and shit. Like he is the grossest, like funniest fucking character I've ever seen in Street Fighter. Well, next to like Hakan. Hakan's my favorite. But the oil dude, Turkish oil man. But anyway, so I really hope to see Hakan. Now that I think about it, but anyway, so they announced Cammy. She's returning from Street Fighter 4. Same British woman with the ass that everybody knows. But yeah, that's
remember
awesome.
I'm a Cammy girl.
Yeah, you're a Cammy kind of girl. That's right. You said that. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm pretty stoked to see some more gameplay from that. They've got so many cool mechanics they announced. In the past week, they announced what the V-isms are. There's these things called V skills that each character has uniquely. So they got rid of the focus attacks from Street Fighter 4, which were these like you hold them down and you charge, and then you can absorb a hit while they're in focus, and you can punch them back or counter back, or you can dash out of it for some crazy combos. But they're taking out that whole mechanic. They're throwing it out. They're adding in the V-ism or the V skill, and you can. Now, like, each character, like, so Bison, for instance, like, if you throw a fireball or you punch him or something, he can take that hit, he can absorb it, and throw it back at you as a fireball. And then Charlie, the Guile, he was a Guile clone in the Alpha series, but now he's kind of his own character. He can absorb fireballs as well. Ryu has a parry from Street Fighter 3, which is pretty cool, so, like, he can just parry moves flat out and... get in. That's such an awesome mechanic. But I'm pretty stoked for that game. It's going to be more. I think it's going to be more technical Street Fighter than we're used to. It's going to be far more aggressive fighting game. I'm excited to see what that does. I hope it doesn't turn into like what Street Fighter Cross Tekken did, because Street Fighter Cross Tekken was a really good game. But they did so many things wrong with it that it and just left it unbalanced. Had they balanced Street Fighter Cross Tekken, it would have been the best Street Fighter game. But they didn't. So anyway, moving on. Sony then shows off the best game ever.
They dropped the mic twice.
They dropped the mic several times during this. But the best one they announced was World of Final Fantasy. Oh my god, all of those chibi sprites. No, who am I fucking kidding? Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Timed exclusive for PS4.
Oh my god. Potentially. I don't know.
It's a time exclusive.
It sounds like it is. It sounds like it might be, but they just made it sound like it was going to come to other consoles later. So yeah, probably time exclusive.
But I think Sony still owns the rights too.
Who the fuck knows? I really don't know that one, because I have Final Fantasy VII on my computer. So I mean, from Steam. So I don't know.
The fact that it's coming out on PlayStation first. I mean, this is actually a big deal for time exclusive because it holds so much weight. It's not like a new IP that says, hey, we're going to come out on this. Yeah. It does, like, Tomb Raider's doing the whole time exclusive thing, but it does not hold the weight that Final Fantasy VII does at all.
Yeah.
And I'm actually kind of excited because I wanted to pick it up, but I just...
You never played it?
I never played it because I didn't quite know about it. Like, when PlayStation was around, you the friends you hung out with, the games you heard about, and things like...
So if you never hung out with Final Fantasy people, you can play them.
And it was just, I never got into that whole RPG stuff, so I'm really excited to actually jump on the bandwagon for this, because I'm a little skeptical to still try Final Fantasy VII because it is such a JRPG. I don't know how well I may take to it because it's not my kind of game.
Yeah. I'm really curious to what they're gonna do to it. Like,
it may just be a whole new reskin, and it might just be the same.
I really hope it's the same. I really hope that's the case. I really hope they just reskin the game. Like, the game, Final Fantasy VII is pretty good on its own.
Well, the funny thing is that people have been speculating this for, ever.
Yeah, the biggest issue with Final Fantasy VII, playing it right now, and if you haven't already tried to go back and play Final Fantasy VII, it is polygons. It looks like shit, nowadays. It looks terrible. There's a few scenes that look awkward because they're just in these polygons or in a polygon.
And it might actually come up with some better emotions, because if you try to watch some of that, the whole entire deaths of certain people, it's just like.
So yeah, we'll I really hope they do this right. It's going to be really cool to see it voice acted. Hopefully they flesh out the character development a lot better, and we get a better insight of Cloud. He's not just some emo stupid.
I kind of find it funny that they're the first person they show off right at the bat. They didn't when I first saw the trailer coming out, they really didn't say who it was, but as soon as I saw Barrett's minigun hand, I was like, I know exactly what this is.
Yeah, I recognized some of the environments. So I was like, no way. I'm like, this can't be.
I thought it was going to be a continuation at first, a sequel.
Out as soon as I recognized the slide in the the underground of Midgar, it's like, oh my god, this is really happening. And then I freaked out. I cried a little bit. Had this single manly tear come down my face for that one moment. So it was insane. I was blown away. I was like, E3's over. I don't need any more E3 after this. This is the announcement I've been waiting for 15 years. That won all of the E3 ever
for him
in existence. So that was awesome. But Final Fantasy World overshadowed Final Fantasy VII completely.
Are you joking?
Final Fantasy, our World of Final Fantasy is what it's called.
The whole chibi thing.
Oh my god. I saw that game and I was like, what the fuck is this, Square? What are you doing?
I think Sony was kind of like, this isn't what you promised us.
Yeah, like that game, I was like, what the hell? But the follow up with Final Fantasy VII blew me away. We haven't seen any Final Fantasy 15 this year, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with them not showing it off because it's gonna come out this year, and it's gonna be good.
The one thing that kind of surprised me was no Metal Gear at the Sony press conference. Out of all the places I thought they were gonna show,
there was no Metal Gear period
in any of the conferences
because Konami usually has a sort of an event or a press conference, but this year they didn't appear anywhere. Kojima didn't appear anywhere, and I think it's because
they're having struggles right now.
The struggle, whatever's going on at Konami, is going on there, and they're not. They're just not in a situation where they care enough, or I don't think Kojima cares enough to go out and do a press conference.
The interesting thing that kind of got me though is that they kind of took the side and they went to go introduce the new streaming service.
Yeah.
Which actually sounds kind of promising over some of the other ones because the fact that you can actually subscribe to individual channels.
That was the portion that I did not pay attention to. I tuned out instantly as soon as that came on. I was so freaked out about Final Fantasy.
You were just like...
Actually, what happened during that sequence, I went and found the Final Fantasy VII trailer and watched it 3 more times.
Okay, so for those that are interested, PlayStation is doing a new service. Xbox is trying to counteract it. They're testing it in the LA markets and in New York right now. It's going to come out live next month. And the big fact that is that you can actually stream individual channels, which is going to be kind of good for me because right now I've got Hulu and Netflix, but I can't get anything off of AMC. Mm-hmm. So it'd be nice to get some AMC streaming in there. Another thing that Sony announced was they're now supporting external media.
That is really cool. That's something that should have announced a while back.
Xbox has a leg up. People really don't.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's not that big a feature because nobody's buying an Xbox One over. But it's kind of cool to see the fact that they're supporting MKV, AVI, MP4,
finally,
MPEG, photos, JPEG, BMPs, and PNGs, and then music, MP3s.
Yeah. Very cool.
And then the one thing that another thing, Sony's helping make the fabled. I'm probably saying that I'm gonna slaughter this. Shenmue 3.
Shenmue.
So
Shenmue is this game that I followed for a while actually. Excuse me, but I've followed Shamu. I followed Shamu since I was a kid in SeaWorld. But Shenmue came out in the late 90s. And on the Dreamcast of all consoles, and it was this really weird game because it was a mix between this adventure game and a fighting game. So you walked around kind of like this detective game. You're trying to figure out who killed your father, and you're trying to seek vengeance because you're an Asian man looking for some aggression. So you could beat people up. There was some fighting game elements.
Sounds like a band name, Asian Aggression.
Yeah. There was some fighting game elements, some beat down mechanic, kind of beat 'em up type gameplay mechanics, and then it had this whole detective thing going on, and then terrible voice acting.
They had to get $2 million for the Kickstarter, and it broke a record the other day when Sony announced it.
Yeah,
it became the fastest Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's all it took. It was 9 hours done.
And Sony's all like, ka-ching.
Yeah. Well, so Sony is officially supporting Shenmue as well. So that's probably going to be a PS3 exclusive, maybe PC release. But yeah, that's going to, or PS4 anyway. But yeah, Shenmue's going to be pretty sweet. I hope, I don't know what they're going to do, because like the one of the appeals to the older game is almost, it's a downside to it, is the fact that it has terrible voice acting. The voice acting is so terrible that it's funny, you know? Where are the sailors? Can you tell me where the sailors are at?
So they just got
Can you
the
help me
worst,
find somebody who speaks Chinese?
the worst American actors they could find.
Like they just like they have
Hey,
this
you,
guy-
some guy on the random street, come here. You want to voice act?
Yeah, and it's just this awful voice acting. Can you tell me where my dad is at?
He's dead.
Can you read Chinese? I need to find someone who speaks Chinese. You know, stuff like that. Just like, and it's just this terrible dialogue, like trying to be funny sometimes, and it's funny because it's bad, not funny because they're actually funny.
Terrible.
So I really hope this works out, and I really hope it turns into a great game. Because the concept of it's really cool, like a detective game that is also a beat 'em up, that is also a.
Well, it's like those
fighter.
old Jackie Chan movies.
Yeah, exactly. It's a total Jackie Chan. I'd love to play a cheesy Jackie Chan game, by the way. Get him on that.
The one thing that kind of surprised me, though, and I actually started laughing as soon as I saw this, is the Black Ops 3 symbol. I was like...
Oh, yeah. That was...
that really was a spit in the Xbox's face. Like,
oh, that was awful.
I wonder if they would just be... I don't know what happened to make the timed exclusive switch consoles like that. I mean, they've been timed exclusive
Popularity,
since
console
Modern
sales.
Warfare 2.
It was probably console sales.
And I wonder if that's probably the reason why they had
Activision.
God and Warfare show up in their press conference instead of actually Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Because it's just... A lot of people may not like Call of Duty, but it's a big deal for like something for that, just to switch over like that.
Right.
Like, I don't know how much money Sony's paying right now, but whether or not you like Call of Duty is going to sell a lot of games regardless this thing. See, here's the thing. Call of Duty can lose a couple million people each year and still be more profitable than any other game.
It's true.
It's just...
It's true. It's pretty damn...
It's a good cash cow. You may hate the cash cow. You may want to kill the cash cow, but it's still alive and breathing.
Speaking of Activision cash cows, they're reviving Guitar Hero this year as well. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, they are?
They are reviving Guitar Hero this year. I mean, it's a very different game than we once knew, but...
Oh, did you watch the trailer to that?
Yeah, there's a trailer to it. It didn't come out at E3. They didn't announce it then. They announced it a couple months ago, but that was interesting. So we're going to see what happens with that.
But that was just kind of like a funny spit in the face. Like, I honestly broke out laughing. Like, I was like...
Oh,
and then Sony's all like, we're done for today, but one more. We're going to drop the mic a second time.
Yeah. Uncharted gameplay. Oh, look how fantastic this game is that you already knew was going to be fantastic.
The facials are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like...
Oh, yeah.
And it still has like that cheesy vibe, especially
Absolutely.
like
It feels...
when they go and jump out of a building and land right in the Jeep and like, oh, immediately turn it on. I had the keys.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I'm so stoked for that game, but I want to jump in and enjoy that world.
Sony did some like slow movements, but for overall, their exclusives that they had like a lot of them too.
Yeah.
It was. But that's pretty much it for the wrap up on Sony's. If you guys want official numbers and release, we can easily. IGN's got everything that was like released.
Check out the news sites: IGN, GameSpot, Kotaku, just wherever. But yeah, just like if you need the videos too, check the official areas. But regardless, yeah, it was this E3 overall. Like those 2 days. I don't know if I want to even talk about today's E3, but because today just ruined everything for me. But
we have to talk about it,
Mr.
Fanboy.
About it. We'll talk about it in a second. But it was like some of the best press conferences from both Sony and Microsoft I've ever seen.
Sony, like the fact Phil Spencer is gold for Sony right now.
For Microsoft.
I mean, sorry, for Microsoft.
Yeah.
And the great thing is that they're providing a lot of good competition for each other, which helps the industry. Like if both industries have to be cutthroat on what they're doing, I mean both companies, then that is just better for us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, I forgot. Sony did the Arkham Knight trailer.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. That wasn't even like Final Fantasy VII, dude. Like
Such a fanboy.
They didn't even care. I'm gonna play Arkham Knight for sure. Like I love that game. I just didn't care about the trailer. I was like, it's just the bullshit exclusive DLC or some shit. I don't care.
Okay, do you want to pull the Monday off now?
All right, here we go. So,
Puppets.
This morning we started with Nintendo. I was super hyped, you know. I was riding the Final Fantasy VII train this morning. I was like, fuck. Sony had the best press conference ever, but here's Nintendo's time to shine. They're going to drop a bomb today. Everybody else dropped some bombs. Let's do it.
They dropped the bomb, all right, but it was on themselves.
Yeah, so
it was like womp womp womp.
They kicked it off with a pretty cool announcement, like Star Fox.
Well, the puppets were fantastic.
Yeah, puppets were fun. Like last year they did Robot Chicken. This year it's puppets. So like, I liked it. I liked the feel. It was funny. They turned into Star Fox characters. Here's a Star Fox game. Awesome. That game looks awesome. Like it just looks like a classic Star Fox. It's not. I mean, the only thing that's dragging that down is it's just nothing special. Like there's nothing new, but it looks cool. I mean, there's the whole like you can transform into a land walking bird thing, but it's still an R-wing. I don't know. They had some new like transformations that they're playing with. And the fact that it's not a main series Star Fox game, they're like, this doesn't fit in the Star Fox timeline, so we're just calling it Star Fox Zero because we like the kanji symbol for zero. Whatever the case was, it looked cool. I was like, I'm down. I'll play Star Fox. I'll buy that.
Well, the thing that got me off guard this morning is like, because I woke up at around 12, me working Graves. Mm-hmm. I went to go, okay, I got to go watch the Nintendo press conference. I went to go search for press conference, and I was like, where's the press conference? It wasn't even a press conference. It was a digital exclusive.
Yeah,
I didn't
they
get,
always do that.
I didn't get that at first because I was like,
that's Nintendo's thing. Is they quit doing E3,
which is actually I think a bad idea,
and decided just to do press conferences. They still show up at E3. Like the main guys will show up at E3 and they'll interview and they'll show off their games and stuff, but they're not going to do a live conference anymore because it's just it costs some money. They're doing these updates every month anyway, these digital event updates. They just do a bigger one or a more better production, higher production one for E3. But they do them throughout the year. So, like, next month we're going to see more Nintendo content. So that's why I'm not too butthurt about this one. But
the biggest problem, though, is no new IPs.
There was no new IPs, sure. The biggest issue I had with it, there wasn't really any new games. They really just showed off a lot of
the developer stories. I thought
year.
It was just a cheap way to fill up time.
Well, they did the same thing last year though. That's the thing, is they showed all these developer stories and it was really cool and it felt awesome because I was getting excited. They were showing off new games left and right, but they were showing these developer stories in between to kind of fill the time and keep you hyped. But it was really cool. But this year they kind of tried to do the same format, but it was with the same games. Like, we just saw more of Yoshi. We saw more of Mario Maker.
Hyrule Warriors on 3DS. And that
wasn't
even that, like...
on 3DS. Like, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I've never played that game, but it's awesome. It's coming to 3DS. I'll probably pick it up. I'll probably play it. But I don't think... Like, it's not a huge title. It's not a title I'm looking for. And then, like, they announced a new Zelda for 3DS, which would be a big deal, but it's just some multiplayer kind of, like, stripped-down Zelda game is what it seems like. It's not... Like, I'll probably try it. I'm probably actually going to wait for reviews on that one. Like, that's probably the first Zelda game that I'm not going to go out and just pick up right away. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, maybe they'll have some better stuff.
What's with all the Animal Crossing stuff? Like,
and then, yeah, they showed off 2 Animal Crossing games, so... they're both very amiibo-centric. So the first one is the home decoration game. So if you're sick of saving up money, paying Tom Nook, running a whole town, you could say, fuck that shit. I'm going to get just the home decoration game and purchase fucking cards and decorate my house.
Can I just kill Tom Nook?
So, yeah, I mean, in maybe adult Animal Crossing, maybe Grand Theft Animal Crossing. But, like, it was kind of dumb. I really, like, I'm not interested in the decoration
And the new
game.
Metroid game? What was with that? Like, yeah, I didn't understand that.
I'll explain that one in a second, too. There's so many problems that I have. But then there was Animal Crossing Mario Party mixed together, so you could stick your amiibos in this Animal Crossing party, join the
We dropped our wallets, but I didn't know how much we had, so we halved
so
it.
now you can pay Tom Nook in board game form. I love learning to pay my debts. And so the next game they show is or like one of the other games is this Metroid game. Is like, okay, this is probably the Blast Ball game that they showed off at the Nintendo World Championship. And sure enough, it pretty much is. But it's not...
It's not a real Metroid game.
Metroid. Yeah, it's not Metroid. It looks cool. I'll play it. I'll totally pick it up. But it's not Metroid. Like, it's like got this Metroid Prime influence.
Especially with all the strong female protagonists coming out this year. Do you think they would have brought back the first one of all time? Like, really?
Why not? No, you're just gonna put a bunch of random soldiers in robot suits and make them fight each other like Halo or some shit, or play soccer, because that's what we like is Metroid soccer. So yeah, that's the
you gotta help somebody out with after the scandals with FIFA to help ease the pain.
Yeah, I mean, like there was some decent stuff. Like they showed off Fire Emblem again. It's got a name now. It's Fire Emblem Fates. So that's really cool. I'm pretty actually excited. I'm actually really excited to play that game. They didn't really show off anything new with it, but I'm excited to play it. The characters actually have feet rendered in the game this time, because the last one they didn't render feet for the characters.
What do you mean feet?
They didn't render the feet for the characters. Like, so in Fire Emblem, like you have the sprites, and then once they went into battle, it would zoom in on the combat and show their 3D models. But the 3D models did not have feet on the previous 3DS version of the game.
You don't need feet to walk
No,
around.
they didn't need feet. I mean, the game was really good. I just thought it was really weird that they didn't render
Is there
feet,
like,
so.
okay, I've never played Fire Emblem. Like, when I was watching the trailers, like, it seemed to be really JRPG anime like style. Like, if you're gonna kill me, you should kill me as yourself. I'm like, oh wow, this is really just like watching an anime show.
Yeah. So it was good though. I loved Fire Emblem Awakening, so I'm gonna totally pick up Fates. It's got a like kind of a Mass Effect kind of feel to it now, where you're picking stories and going different paths.
That's the one thing that was kind of funny, is like when they played Mass Effect 3 on the Xbox One.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that.
They played Mass Effect 1.
Sorry, 1, not Mass.
Yeah, on the Xbox One when they were showing off the backwards compatibility. But yeah, like that was kind of cool. They showed off another trailer for Shin Megami Cross Fire Emblem, which I hope is good. I love SMT. That series is cool. Personas are fun. So I really hope that.
They're not really doing anything to bring new players in though.
That was really the only new IP. One of my favorite games they announced. My favorite new Nintendo game that they announced was Paper Mario.
Join
Mario
Super Mario
and Luigi. So it's like a cross between the Mario and Luigi games and the Paper Mario games. So you have like these two worlds colliding, and it was, oh man, that's so ridiculous. But I loved it. I'm gonna play that game because it's a Mario RPG, and I love those series.
It was a lot of charm, but no substance.
But yeah, that's really what it was. It was just there wasn't that bomb. There wasn't that like, hey, we're gonna show you some more Legend of Zelda.
We got enough stuff to create memes for the rest of the world.
They didn't want to show off anything that they were planning on releasing next year, so they kind of avoided a lot of those games.
But they didn't show anything off that was coming out this year either.
No, they showed off everything they showed off today. Was it? This year.
I guess I just wasn't paying.
Yeah, everything they showed off is coming out this year. For the most part, there's some stuff that might be early 2016, but for the most part, all of that stuff they showed off is coming out this year. The Zelda, like that Zelda Triforce one or the 3 Links or whatever, that one's coming out in like October. There's a bunch of games they just announced or games that have been announced that are coming out this year. I'm pretty stoked for some of them not so much. So we'll see. I hope they're all good and fine, but I really, really want to play Mario Maker. But really, when it comes down to it, I don't know what the hell like happened there. Other than, my suspicion, and I'm probably completely wrong, is that they're trying to phase out the Wii U because they didn't announce any new.
I think the Wii U has been such a disaster for them.
They're getting ready for a Nintendo X, and they've already announced the existence of it, but they're not showing anything off. Next E3, they're going to show it off. I don't know if it's going to be released the same year, but they're showing it off next year for sure. So I'm wondering if this is their way of phasing out the Wii U already, but I don't know. Like I want to see some more Wii U games, and one thing too is they do these press conferences. They do these press conferences monthly, so they might just have these bigger announcements ready next month. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just kind of sour about it at first, but it slowly picked up. So, but afterwards, after Nintendo, which just kind of made it worse, was Square Enix, like just with the shitty press.
See, I didn't watch. I didn't watch. The only one I watched that was developed was Bethesda. I didn't watch the Ubisoft, the EA.
Yeah. Like I was so I was looking forward to Square Enix. There's some rumors surrounding a potential Chrono Trigger sequel, remake, something to do with the Chrono series. There was this rumor circulating around, and they had kept Final Fantasy VII a secret pretty good, and there was I remember reading there was some Final Fantasy VII rumors before the conference, so potentially they had another game to show, and so it was like, oh sweet, let's see what happens here. And they just proceed into the most boring press conference ever, in which they don't show you games. They talk.
What?
They talk for most of the press conference and show you trailers that you've probably seen. They showed off a new dress. The only things that were new during that press conference and that were done okay was the Just Cause. They kicked it off with Just Cause 3. That game is going to be really good, really successful. Just Cause 2 is just really popular.
So much saturation this year, it might get overshadowed.
Yeah. And so the problem that they run into with that press conference is it wasn't hyped enough. It made me fall asleep. I wanted to turn it off the stream after Just Cause, because I was like, oh my god, I can't handle this. They did not show off any gameplay. They're like, hey, this cool game's coming, but we're not showing you anything on it. Or they'll show you a teaser trailer on it. Platinum Games is working on a game with Square Enix, and so that should be really awesome. But
they didn't show anything on it?
They only showed a teaser trailer for it.
Because Bethesda was like, we're going to just... Here's the game. The one thing I forgot about on Bethesda, Hearthstone competition. Did you see that part?
What?
Bethesda is coming out with their own card game based on Elder Scroll. It is a free-to-play card game.
I saw that. I don't know how I feel. I'm gonna stick with Blizzard for now.
I just think it's funny that they're they're ready to take on Blizzard.
That's insane to me, but we'll see. I think Blizzard needs some competition in that market because Magic the Gathering has failed in their most recent entries, and
the thing is, Magic's always gonna be around because nobody's gonna.
But yeah, I think Magic's popular enough; it doesn't matter. If the game,
it's always Magic the Gathering's always gonna control the actual physical card market.
That's true.
You can't play Hearthstone on physical cards.
Their digital card game is not non-existent almost.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, Square Enix. They show off the same trailers they showed off before. So they showed off Final Fantasy VII again, Final Fantasy World, or World of Final Fantasy. I mix it up, but whatever the case is, it was a lot of the same stuff. They showed off some new behind the scenes Lara Croft, why she has snowflakes, or why snowflakes show up on her shirt and stuff now.
I really don't care.
Just tons of detail is whatever.
That's the thing that kind of pissed me off in the Xbox conference. They really didn't show any real mattering gameplay. Nobody knows exactly what's going on in this new Tomb Raider.
One thing we totally missed, but I really want to talk about anyway, that now we've kind of got most of the press conferences out of the way, is Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Oh, that was actually, I was skeptical about Battlefront 3, but when they showed it off in the Sony press conference, I was like, you know what, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought it was going to be this crap. It's even first person. I thought it was going to be the third person crap that usually goes on, and it looks fantastic.
It just blows my mind how good that game looks. I love it looks like you're playing in a movie, in a CGI movie. It's awesome. I love watching the sequences where they were shooting the snowtroopers on Hoth, and then Darth Vader force choking the other guy. The cheesiness of that moment.
The only thing I'm skeptical about is the fact that there's no single player.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm kind of why would you take that away? That was one of the main focuses of the original Battlefront.
That's true. There was a pretty awesome single player campaign, so the fact that there isn't that, but I'll play Battlefield with a Star Wars skin. I'm down. That game looks sick. You can fly in a TIE fighter, you can hop in an AT-AT, nuke the shit out of people with lasers. You can be Luke Skywalker and fight Darth Vader if you want to. That's a sweet game. So I'm down to play that. Probably one of the best Star Wars games to come out, I bet. I mean, that's my speculation, but I think it's going to be probably the...
Star Wars has had a hard history with games. It really has.
The Old Republic was pretty good, but I have a hard time getting into MMOs, so I'm almost tempted to play it just so I can get through a story on it, because you can actually play through it single player without having to have a group. So I might try it out and do that, but I don't know. Star Wars has had like really good games, and they've had bad games, but for the most part, like Star Wars games haven't turned out terribly, and I don't see Battlefront being any different. I think that's going to be a pretty good game. I'm pretty stoked for that. One other game that we didn't talk about, but they released a trailer during kind of the pre-E3 stuff. I think probably before then, probably last week. They released 2 trailers, a long and a short trailer for Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain.
Oh, gosh,
more tally marks, more hype for the Metal Gear Solid train. That game is so sick. So we just watched it. I showed TJ before the cast here.
What do you think is going to get Game of the Year? Fallout 4 or Metal Gear? That's the thing. Those are honestly like the top fighters for like Game of the Year right now.
Well, we'll see. I really am going to be a Metal Gear fanboy and say Metal Gear, but
depending on how big Death and Fallout can go,
I don't know. I know they're adding like some bullshit Clash of Clans microtransactions to the multiplayer, which might just
for Metal Gear.
Yeah, they announced that last week, or there's not. They didn't announce it, but when they were talking about the E3 previews, some people did some research and read into it, or some people were saying some things about like how there was a thing in there you need to be on, like, because they were playing an offline version of the game, but there was some stuff in there that said, oh, you need to play online to access the move faster feature when you're building. It was in reference to building something for their base.
Oh, that's
so there
gonna be...
might be some pay to play.
That's probably the reason why I wonder if Konami kind of left. He's like,
which
that isn't because. Okay, I will say this right now. When I tried to play the original Metal Gear 4 multiplayer, it was really bad.
I thought it was great.
I thought it was bad because.
You ever played the original Metal Gear Online?
Was that for 4 or was that before?
For PlayStation 2.
No, I didn't play the original 2.
Oh.
4 just felt like it was disorganized. Not that the gameplay was bad. It just, a lot of the maps felt disorganized. A lot of the game modes felt disorganized. It wasn't a lot of... It was hard to get into.
So one of the coolest online games, Metal Gear Online, the original, that was done really well. And that's what I thought Metal Gear Online 2... I haven't played this... I never got a chance. They closed down the multiplayer by the time I got Metal Gear Solid 4. But like the original Metal Gear Online for Metal Gear Solid 3 was really good. Being able to play the different characters and sneak around and kill each other. And then they kind of ported that over to Portable Ops on the PSP, which was also really good because of that. Like there were some really good Metal Gear Online moments. So I mean, I really hope they do something similar. I doubt it, but I don't know. After seeing like the whole pay to win on your base thing, like to make things build faster, some Clash of Clans pay to win bullshit, like I don't know if I'm going to participate in the online experience. If that is a mechanic involved, I'm not going to.
Okay, well, regardless, Les Fontaines, I probably killed that.
Like Les Enfants Terribles. They introduce at the very end of this trailer, or they don't introduce them, but they show off 2 twins.
I don't think they might not actually be like, they might not be Snake.
And they say Les Enfants Terribles. They say at the very end of the trailer.
I wonder if they're the first people cloned, but they don't look like.
Liquid and Snake. I'm thinking they are Liquid and Snake, but that's just me. And
it could
this plays into a theory that I have. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if it's true or not, and maybe there's some stuff out there deconfirming this. But I think that David Hayter is still involved with voicing Snake.
He is hoping so much. I mean, he has been talking about this ever since.
I will not let this go. I have said I really hope David Hayter voices Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain. And I think that's what the case is. I think that's what it was. I think that the whole David Hayter being pissed off at Kojima on Twitter and being salty, I think that was all just some marketing scheme. And that David Hayter is actually involved, and it's gonna be some crazy hype shit when it happens in the game.
It's gonna be Dun dun dun.
Yeah, it's gonna or it might just be like because like at the end of every Metal Gear, there's always a
like
little
a
call
post-credit
between
scene.
Ocelot and somebody else, and I have a feeling we're gonna hear David Hayter talking as Solid Snake at the end or something. I really hope that's the case. I don't know. It's just my crazy fan theory. You can find it on fanfiction.net, with all the other Metal Gear Solid.
Do you have a theory on fanfiction? I was about to say.
I'm just making up shit. Yeah, it's I'm super stoked for Phantom Pain, and I think that's gonna be my game of the year for sure. So,
I'm gonna have to go with Fallout. I'm just because I'm a big Metal Gear fanboy.
I don't blame you. It's there's a high possibility.
I'm split between the two right now. Like I cannot until I actually get some of the more gameplay because Ground Zeroes was kind of hard to play through.
Sure.
But that may be that because it was just so small.
There's nothing there other than the one.
And then, but Fallout just looks so amazingly good. And a lot of people are worried about the graphics engine, and I don't see an issue at all with the graphics.
We'll see. Well, we'll see.
Well, yeah, it is Fallout. I'm suspecting myself to get flung 50 feet in the air.
Notoriously, I have ran into some sort of crashing issue with every single Bethesda game. So
this has been 8 years in the making, so you better
hopefully they have something solid. But we're probably gonna crash. Probably gonna lose some save progress. But whatever, it happens.
Overall, who do you think won E3 out of the big three?
Won E3 out of the big three, I guess, that have always been there: Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony. I would say Sony won E3 pretty.
I'm gonna have to agree with you there.
Yeah, I think they won, just based on the fact that they just announced the big games.
Destiny, I forgot about all the Destiny exclusives too.
Yeah, I don't even play Destiny. You play Destiny, so you're probably more excited about that than I am. But that's cool. I think Sony just had more to offer as far as their
the backwards compatibility was good.
That's huge. That's
but it
massive.
wasn't. But the rest of their conference was just.
They don't have any games.
They didn't show anything off.
They don't have any other games that I'm really like. Well, I can get that on PC.
And then Sony's all like, bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam, and then it was like, okay, a little bit low, and they're like, bam, 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 bam.
I think if Microsoft had an Uncharted 4 or Horizon or something close to that, they would be pretty damn close. But they don't have anything we saw a teaser for ReCore. But we haven't seen any gameplay, so I don't know.
Nobody even knows what ReCore is about.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be any good. They've got some big names involved. Keiji Inafune, the guy who created Mega Man. So, he's definitely a creative guy. And he's got Mighty Number 9 coming out pretty soon, and that's gonna be a really great game. I contributed to that Kickstarter right away. I'm stoked.
For me, that Sony won, but not by a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
It wasn't like
I agree.
Microsoft did a bad job, and Rob and I are we're not he's more of a Nintendo fanboy than he is a Sony fanboy.
Yeah.
And I am a Sony fanboy, but I loved a lot of the stuff that Xbox did, but it just kind of fell flat.
Absolutely.
And Nintendo, unfortunately, Nintendo was just hard to sit through.
Yep.
But they did all relatively well. It wasn't like Sony overshadowed. It wasn't like when Sony did announced the PlayStation 4 and just went bam and pretty much shot Xbox in the foot.
Absolutely.
It wasn't like they were all relatively around the same scale this year, I think.
Sure, absolutely. Now this brings my question: what game that was announced at E3 wowed you the most? Which game made you instantly want to pick it up?
Fallout 4.
Fallout 4.
As much as Metal Gear had been leading up to a lot of stuff, and then there's only so much storyline. They didn't show off very much game elements.
I'll count Fallout 4, even though it was announced last week or so, but that counts.
But
I would say that's an E3 announcement. Metal Gear wasn't an E3 announcement. Yeah. Metal Gear was last year, or has been announced forever. But yeah,
Fallout 4, they really showed everything.
I think I kind of am on that bandwagon. I'm on the Fallout 4 bandwagon. That game showed off the most cool shit, I think, out of all. It had some of the long.
I was surprised how much gameplay they actually showed off.
Yeah. I was impressed, but they're releasing it this year.
The death claws look amazing. They don't look gangly anymore. They're these big, huge,
They're gonna rip your face and body.
And the thing that kind of led me to be a little interesting is that the power armor isn't I don't know if this is gonna work the whole game. It's not something that it looks like you can carry around with you.
No, it's something that you're gonna have to keep in your base, some Tony Stark shit.
A lot of people when you get to end game of Fallout, everybody just wears power armor, and it's kind of takes somewhere the fuzziness of like how some of the
Yeah.
different armors look, because power armor is not very appealing looking. It's kind of bulky.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of excited to see how power armor works in the game, because when they're showing him clear out the town.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Gibbs system is so much better than just exploding. Did you see that? Like when people when they're losing body parts, it isn't just like my arm fell off.
It makes sense. Like the first VATS showing where they show the VATS into the mole rat, you see the bullet enter the mole rat and blood comes out right where like.
It's not just like
bullet hits it. It doesn't just hit it and just like
detach the arm. The arm doesn't just like
or the arm falls out or the head pops off or some shit. Like it enters and it just the blood is where the wound is. You know, it makes sense.
The mole rats don't look like fat puppy dog pigs
They're
anymore.
still kind of fat puppy dog pigs anyway. But no, it was awesome. I'm stoked. I think we're mutual agreement here. That it's. That Fallout 4 is probably the game of E3.
I think my second favorite game they announced was Horizon. Honestly, I've been a Guerrilla fanboy since PS2, just because I thought they've always done these interesting kind of like takes. When Halo was doing this shiny, futuristic kind of shooter, they're like, no, we're gonna make ours dull and drab and dreary, and like this is how like I imagine science fiction, because they're colonizing new planets and they're just like, it's like the Colonial Wars. It's a dirty environment, but they still made it look pretty, like fun to play around with.
The game that was the most emotionally exciting for me was Final Fantasy VII, clearly, and the reason why that's not my number one.
It's a remake.
Would be no, not because it's a remake. I'm totally fine with that. I'll remake that shit, please. Quit Kingdom Hearts and remake that shit. Like fuck Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts, whatever. Just remake that shit. But really, like my biggest issue is like there was no gameplay for it. There was no. I don't know what the game is gonna be. Like,
we don't know what it looks like.
I don't know what it's gonna look like. It could just be like they just shit on the battle system. I don't know. So that's the only thing, is they're like critically thinking about it. Like it emotionally like makes me really excited. I'm super stoked to see.
But Square Enix has done some bad stuff in the past.
Final Fantasy VII, like it's a childhood dream. I've been hoping for it since PlayStation 2, like that they would remake Final Fantasy VII to look like Final Fantasy X graphics, and then when they came out with the new Final Fantasies, I want to see it in that graphics. When they came out with the tech demo, I was like, please release this game. God damn it. What are you doing? And then like every E3, everybody's asked, Final Fantasy VII, where is it? Where is it? Like it's always been a question. And even more than Last Guardian. Last Guardian had the same issue. They show it, and then everybody keeps asking every year, where the fuck is it? What are you doing?
Did they show a release date for this yet? I don't think they did.
No. So they said they're going to announce more come the holiday season. So
this could be a while.
Yeah, so we're about to ride the train.
And we all know that Fallout 4 is coming this year.
Tetsuya Nomura is on the name of the game, and the game's gonna take a while because the last time they did this shit, Final Fantasy 15 was the name of the last game they showed off like 10 years ago or whatever. So back in like 2006, they show off this game. They call it Final Fantasy Versus 13s because they were going to release 2 Final Fantasy 13s. They did not show. They didn't. Well, it was called Final Fantasy 13 at the time. They showed off this demo of it, and it looked cool. But they've reworked the fucking game, changed it completely. It's now called Final Fantasy 15. It's coming out this year, 10 years later after showing it off. So it's probably been in development for even longer, maybe 12 years or so. So ridiculous. So I really hope that doesn't happen with Final Fantasy VII. There's rumors around that it's being contracted to a third party, and Tetsuya Nomura is still directing it, which would make sense, I guess, because their in-house team is working on 15 and Kingdom Hearts. Like, Tetsuya Nomura is working on already directing 2 games. I mean, sure, 15 is pretty close to completion, so he can probably spend more time on this. But next year is Kingdom Hearts year, so they're definitely not releasing it next year. I don't see 7 coming in and overshadowing Kingdom Hearts. So it's going to be like a 1-year thing. Like, I think we're going to see, at the soonest, 7 will come out 2017. But anyway, we're kind of running out of time here. Any last words, TJ, before we go? Anything we didn't talk about that you want to cover?
I think we pretty much just did all of it.
We just
like, it was just
E3.
A lot of the games. I think the one thing I enjoyed most this time is that Sony kind of like the one thing I've had the problems in the past with Sony is that they always like want to talk about the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is how we built this. This is how we did this, and Sony's like, fuck it. They did it a little bit, and they were just like, and then Microsoft kind of was known to do that. Everybody just focused on the games, except for maybe Square Enix.
And some portions of Sony's press conference and some portions of Microsoft's press conference, but for the most part,
it was about the games.
Purely games, about the games. There was no like I'm so glad Microsoft dropped some of the stupid try to make this console be a fucking multitasking media center. We don't care about that shit anymore. It's games, Minecraft and the HoloLens or some shit. I'm stoked. I'm excited to see what's to come. But
I can't wait for my Doom beta. I pre-ordered Wolfenstein just for the hell of it, just to get that.
Yeah, so I'm pretty stoked though. So we'll talk more in the coming future about further news that comes out in E3. I know they're doing a PC press conference. I don't think they announced Half-Life 3 while we were streaming. I hope they don't. Maybe. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna check that out actually.
Okay, we're gonna
see Half-Life 3. Is it confirmed or not? I doubt it. I really don't think we're seeing Half-Life 3 bullshit anymore.
I think my phone.
Dude, that would end it that
that
Final
might actually
Fantasy
kill my game of the year for E3.
Final Fantasy 7 getting announced at E3, kind of was the Half-Life 3 of the E3. So the fact that they, so it'll be.
Oh, they're allowing mods for Fallout 4 on the Xbox One.
That was something we didn't talk about. That's true.
But the thing is, it may not be exclusive to the Xbox One. Fallout has come out and said they may do it for the PlayStation 4, but they don't know right now because none of the supported mods will come out till next year.
Gears of War Ultimate Edition is coming to PC. This is
really
news.
Okay.
Gears of War Ultimate Edition.
I don't need an Xbox One anymore. I'm.
And there are chances of Gears 4 coming to PC. So
I definitely know. You know what, Microsoft, you just screwed yourself over.
Hey, Fallout Shelter coming to Android.
When? Tell me now.
There's no announcement on the release yet, but that's coming to Android. Let's see what else we got. I think that's it. There wasn't anything. Mods are gonna work on console for Fallout 4. Hopefully on the PS4. I know that the Bethesda guys said that's what they're trying to do, but right now the PlayStation people haven't confirmed it.
For what?
For having mods available on the PlayStation 4.
I don't see why Sony would. I think Sony has always been trying to build a very good PC relationship community, especially when they did their partnership with Valve.
I hope they do it. We'll see what happens, but yeah, other than that, Gears coming to PC is pretty big. I'll probably pick it up. I mean, Gears of War is on PC. The original, but I think maybe Gears of War 2 even made it to PC. But they're doing a remastered collection. The remastered version of Gears of War looks great, so I'm pretty stoked for that. But we'll see. Anyway, this is probably the end of the cast. We're running late, so we're gonna call it here. Hope you enjoyed it. You can follow us on Twitch just by clicking the little follow heart button now. If you're watching it currently, watching us on YouTube.
We love people.
Please subscribe to YouTube channel, and then click to our Twitch link and follow us on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook.
Stalk me if you like. I don't mind.
Please stalk me. Add me as a friend. I don't care, except if I get too many friends. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
I'm your friend.
Just you and me, baby. All right. So that's it. I'm gonna call it. We're gonna close out with some beautiful music and shit. I'm just kidding. We're closing the cast. Goodbye, guys.
We love you.